Hello everyone, you're welcome back on my YouTube channel, Moment with Gompart. Last episode was exciting. We were able to talk about some critical issues affecting the youth in the West African region. And this week is also amazing, it's loaded, because we'll be talking about one of the most sensitive issues that have to do with gender, not only in Nigeria, not only in Africa, but a global issue. Today, I have with me two amazing guests that will be speaking on this sensitive issue, a male and a female. I will try as much as possible to balance the gender due to the sensitivity of this issue. That's rape and sexual assault. Many people have been assaulted, many people have been raped. Today we want to talk on what to do, how these things happen, and to trash every issues pertaining to rape and sexual assault. I want to quickly talk on the surface of these issues. Whenever we hear rape or sexual assault, the first picture that comes to our mind is the victim must be a female gender, but it's not so. Both male and female gender have been assaulted and have been victims of rape. It's actually difficult for female gender to come out and say she has been raped. How much more male gender? Because male gender is masculine, can resist. But the truth be told, many male gender have actually been harassed and be raped. Today we get to hear from our guest on the show. As I said earlier, we have two guests on the show today, a male and a female. The female guest is by name Maranatha Abutu. She's a talker, she's a storyteller, she's a blogger, and she has written quite a number of stories, to sensitize the female gender on some very sensitive issues. You get to see their profile. And the male guest we have today is by name Jegede Ifeoluwa. He is a professional in his field. He's God-fearing. He's a life coach. He delights in mentoring young up generation. He's very young also, but he has seen this as a calling. And today you get to hear so much from them. Just join me as I welcome the first speaker in person of Maranatha Abutu. You're welcome.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Maranatha, and thank you so much, Emmanuel, for having me here, for giving me the opportunity to come speak about this. So the topic for today is rape and sexual assault. What is rape? Rape is a form or a type of sexual assault usually involving sexual intercourse or other forms of penetration without the other person's consent. And I know a lot of us may have argued situations involving rape, including marriages and relationships. And also stick with us and then you find out more about this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Maranatha Abutu, and over to you, Jegede Ifeoluwa.
Hi, thanks for the platform. Once again, my name is Jegede Ifeoluwa. So like the earlier speaker said, sexual assault is when someone tries to touch another person sexually without the person's consent, or when you coerce someone to have sexual intercourse or sexual relationship with the person. And rape, on the other hand, is a kind of sexual assault whereby someone forcefully had sexual intercourse with another person or have sexual penetration or whatsoever, be it anal, be it oral, with another person without the person's consent, without the person saying yes. You see, it is common in our environment that even every average Nigerian knows that now, and that is why we're encouraging people to speak up. And the truth is that anybody could be a victim, from male to female and all through age ranges. Yes, a man can be abused, a woman can be sexually abused.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to be focusing on the female gender, and this is not even because I'm a female, but according to UNICEF, 1 out of 4 girls is raped, and 1 out of 10 boys is raped. Now, what are the likely causes of this rape? Now, I would like to say that it could be negligence, child labor, poverty, different circumstances and all of that, relating it to adolescents now. And I feel like a lot of rape that happens with people who the victim is actually very familiar with. And then because you have people like aunties and uncles who visits them regularly, you have people who they've become so conversant with that they no longer see this thing as, you know, something terrible. They do not expect these things to happen, and so when it happens, children or adolescents begins to look at it like, oh, maybe this is the right thing, or maybe I'm not doing anything, maybe there's nothing wrong. And then you find out that at the end of the day, these children are scarred for life. That's where you begin to see women who get married or who go into relationship, and you find them saying, you know, they don't like certain things, or they don't like to be touched in certain areas. And honestly speaking, there's some of these people who have been raped when they were really young, and they did not know that they are being scarred, or whatever they are going through at this point is because of, you know, what happened to them years ago. And categorically speaking, in Nigeria recently, before or during this COVID-19, from January up until this time, the issues of rape has increased drastically. And I feel like if we begin to say that, you know, rapists rape women because they work at night late, or because they wear short skirts, or because they have tattoos on their body, or because they have dyed hairs, or a lot of piercings and all of that, we are just making excuses or justification for this rapist. In all honesty, when you talk about rape, you talk about negligence and trust. This comes from people in the immediate family or extended family, or neighbors who the family have entrusted their kids or their children to, or from teachers who teach these people in schools. But then if you look at it logically, most of the rape cases we've had in Nigeria in recent times are from people who do not even know these people. And I feel like people have normalized it. When somebody is raped, even when you go to the police station, they begin to ask you questions like, where were you at that time? What happened? What were you wearing? Did you reject the guy? In cases where you may have known the guy and all of that. And then when you talk about relationship as well, you find people who say that I take care of you, I pay your bills, so it is my right to have sex with you. And this also applies to marriages. And I feel like the points we are missing is consent. And I think that I would like to focus my idea on consent. What is consent? Consent is an agreement between two people to engage in sexual activities. Now, a child, the age of consent for in Nigeria is 18, and so a child who is 17 years and below cannot give consent. Or a situation where you have men who are 30 something years old and they're dating 17, 16-year-old, and they say they have sex, consensual sex, that's not consent. So consent is an agreement where both parties agree that this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to engage in. So if you have situations where you're dating somebody, for instance, in a relationship, or you're in a marriage, and then your husband comes to you and says, I want to have sex, and as a wife you're like, I'm not in the mood for that. If your husband forces you, that is rape. That is honestly rape. So a child cannot give consent. Somebody who has been drugged or who is on alcohol, whose mind has been influenced by any substance at all, cannot give consent. Now, a child, I keep repeating it, a child cannot give consent. And then we have, and then you can almost not talk about rape without talking about sexual harassment. And I see these things going on, and I feel like the reason why rapists still keep raping people is not because of anything else, it's because rapists are just rapists. So I think that we need to stop making excuses for rapists. And then I think that child labor has also contributed to this, because you have a lot of people on the street now hawking, a lot of children on the street who are supposed to be in school, and not even that the school is even safe enough anymore. Because we heard about 2-3 months ago of a teacher who has been molesting a 3-year-old girl. And this is crazy. How do you allow this to go on in a society? How do we curb rapists? I think that our Nigerian government is not doing a lot. Now we have the Child Rights Act. We have so many penalties for offenders and all of that, but it's honestly it's ridiculous. I was going through one that says for child brides, and I don't even understand why 11 states in Nigeria are yet to still adopt the Child Rights Act. Is it that we enjoy the fact that we subject kids to these things? Is it that I really don't understand why Nigerians are refusing to enforce these laws. And then we have so many ridiculous laws in Nigeria that they are not being enforced. And I think that we need to start from, charging our law enforcement agencies to begin to take these things matter seriously. I know that right now we have gender desk in in most police stations now, that if you go and report these things, how it used to be before, that they begin to ask you stupid questions, has also been reduced. So at least we are making headways. But then we need laws that needs to be put in place to enable these culprits not go scot-free. Or if you say, okay, imprisonment, 20 years is even too little, 20 years with hard labor. Because I don't understand why you want to rape people. How do people enjoy having sex with somebody who is not even in the mood? So I think that we need to start, charging our governments. We need to start asking them, what are we really doing? Are they refusing to enforce these laws because they are also the perpetrators of these same offenses? Because I honestly see no reason why somebody is raped, and then you go to you drag the matter to court, and at the end of the day, relatives will come and say this and that, and then you find people who bribe people and all of that, and eventually the cases will die down. What happens to the victims? What happens to what their life has been subjected to? And I think that we in Nigeria, we don't really take mental health seriously, and that is a very big problem. I mean, most people we put aside the fact that something happens to somebody has to go through trauma. And I hear people say sometimes, oh, you were raped months ago, why are you coming and talk about it now? Now, the thing is, everybody handles situations differently. I may not handle it that way. If I get raped today, maybe at the end of the day, me and my rapist will die. But honestly speaking, people handle situations differently. There are people who get in shell shock that they will be unable to do anything. We need to take into account that mental health, mental stability is something that should not be toyed with. And rape victims, they usually do not know how to feel at that point. Most rape victims blame themselves, but I'm here to tell you that as a rape victim or a rape survivor, it is not your fault. It is not how you looked, it is not how you dressed, it is not what time of the night it wasn't where you were at. Rapists are just rapists. And I want you to know that there are a lot of centers in Nigeria now who tries to help rape victims. There are a lot of them who would be able to pay for your medical bills and then help you lodge a complaint and walk you through mental stability and all of that. But then the only one that comes to mind right now is Mirabel Center in Lagos. So hopefully we have a lot of those centers here, but I know some other ones in Abuja here, but they only help people who have gone through domestic violence. They create a temporary shelter for them and are able to provide them with little sum of money. But I think that this is not enough. We need to have all of these shelters at least in every state in Nigeria, and we need to make enough capacity to be able to take these people in, because people who rape, sexual assault, sexual harassment, domestic violence, all of these things are things that degrade our mental stability. And as a country, I feel like we are really going down the wrong lane. Imagine that even after all of the publicity, all of the online awareness and all of that, we still have people rape people. Just recently read about a gang rape where a girl was raped by 3 boys on the street. And I still begin to ask myself, the reason why these people are still confident to do this thing is because we are really not doing anything about it. The government is silent about it. We're not taking up real actions. We are just talking and talking and talking. And I feel like we need to hold our government accountable. We need to hold our senators, let them pass these bills, so that we can have him. Like, honestly speaking, I was traveling recently and I no longer feel safe when I'm walking alone and I see a guy walking behind me. I'm scared because I don't know him and I don't know what his intentions are. So honestly, I'm scared. Even in my place of work, sometimes when a guy is being unnecessarily nice, not unnecessarily, a guy is being really nice to me, what comes to mind is, I hope this guy doesn't try and take advantage of the fact that I'm talking to him, I'm smiling with him. So honestly speaking, I feel like right now, if I see a child sitting on a man's lap, I begin to look at the guy in a funny way. And this is not because this was how I was brought up, but this is because of the situations we find ourselves in. Nobody can really feel safe around any guy anymore. Even the people you date these days, you really need to check yourself and ask, oh, hope this is this and that is that. But eventually, I just pray that at the end of the day, we are able to do something that would help each and every one of us. Finally, I end by saying that we should be on the lookout. We should be our neighbors' keepers. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you, Maranatha Abutu. That's amazing. She's been able to say the perspective at which is coming from this, you can see this is a very serious issue, and it has really affected our immediate environment negatively. And if something is not done on this, we'll continue to say this over and over again. Thank you so much, Maranatha Abutu, and over to you, Jegede Ifeoluwa.
Like I've said earlier, I said anybody could be a victim of sexual assault or rape, from male to female, and that is why I'll be concentrating on male. Because yes, in our environment, females are the most sexually abused, and yet we don't know that also males are sexually abused and raped, because our societies believe that males are built to be stronger, and then in any sexual activity, male is mostly the dominant sex in this part of the world. So now, a male telling someone that he was sexually abused by a female, it becomes hard to believe. You get, which is a very, very wrong notion, and we need to start taking note of that. It happens, and we see that the children of these days, if parents are not careful, the male will be violated sexually, and that is, it comes to the issues of trusting people, which is one of the cause of sexual assault. This is your uncle, this is your auntie. No, even the auntie can sexually abuse that your son. We've heard of pedophiles. They are out there, so you don't trust anybody. Your friend, you hang out with your friend, you must be smart, sharp, and on the lookout. Don't believe for anything. We've heard of a case whereby the friend hung out with his friends and then got entangled with another lady while they left, and the lady lured him, drugged him, and had violated him sexually, and it lingered on that. He couldn't get himself out of it. Another thing that also causes sexual intercourse is negligence. You feel that guys that I cannot be sexually assaulted, I'm strong, I'm old, and this is a pure lie. Anything can happen. You cannot trust predators. They cannot be predicted. They can do and undo. So, and we see that the side effects, the aftermath effects of rape on these victims causes a whole lot to the society. For instance, there will be anger. The person will be angered easily, throw shades at people, and might be bitter and hurtful because of the past experience. Another thing is fear. There is so much fear, the person gets associated with family and friends, keeps to himself. And another thing is the person becomes depressed, and the depression can lead to drug abuse and alcoholism, because as a guy you are abused and you can't tell anyone. Even the person you told didn't believe you, and it leads to depression, and then you try to get yourself off it. Then you resort to using of drug and alcoholism, and we see that these people, they get violent in the society, or they might get violent in the society. That is why we need to consider, we need to start looking into the male also as the female, and start believing stories. There are cases whereby female actually sexually lured and coerced a male to have sex with her, and then came out to say that he raped her. But then it is the story cannot be believed that a female raped a male in this environment. So his own story to our own story becomes something else, and then you see that kind of guy will go and commit suicide, and that's the end of it. So please, let us start having the understanding, and for whosoever, any guy that has been sexually abused, sexually assaulted, please come out, speak, be bold, be confident about it. And also for us that we might not have experienced that, we should give room for those that experience that, help them, encourage them, speak to them, encourage them to go see therapists, give them room to recover, give them enough time to recover, because such experience is not always a palatable one. Thank you.
Thank you, Jegede Ifeoluwa. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I believe you have learned one thing or the other. Please don't let it stop here. I want you to comment. Let's know your view about this topic on the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe on this YouTube channel, and don't let this sensitization end here. Please spread it. Talk to someone about this topic. Sensitize people, educate people on this, so they won't be prey, they won't be victim of sexual assault and rape in your environment. You guys have been wonderful. Thank you for staying tuned on the show today. Please do not forget, stay healthy, eat well, have a good rest. God bless you. Catch you next episode on Moment with Gompart. Take care. Bye.